Let's talk about something fun. Fun and provable by science, by the way. Lisa Fry of My Mystical Life and mymysticallife.com. Pendulums. There is a whole class on pendulums in the Weekly Intuitive group. Weekly Intuitive class is the name of the group. So, um, pendulums, how does it work? Should it be as creepy as people think it is? And I have to tell you, I know from when I was very young, and a lot of girls did this. I don't know, I doubt that guys did this, but girls would take a needle and thread and stick it into the eraser of the pencil. And how many boys or girls, how many kids am I going to have? And do you realize that at such a young age, I think we probably did this in middle school, I know for certain, um, we were using pendulums. Who thought about that? We didn't. We were just having fun. And I have to say, as I'm older now and I know the science behind them, I can see how it's accurate and I can see how it's harmless. A lot of people are going to think, that pendulums are really metaphysical, when in actuality, pendulums are very, very provable by science. They are it's just an extension of your hand, and we are moving them. Spirit is not getting down there and pushing it around. Micro firings in our brain cause micro firings in our fingers. So, our higher self, our higher learning that knows everything, is actually sending those firings to the muscles in our fingers and moving the pendulum to give the correct answers. How cool is that? Yay, science. Um, but anyways, so every time you pick a pendulum up, I can't stress enough that you need to find the pendulum that works for you. Not all pendulums are going to like you. I know that sounds weird, but some pendulums are going to work better for you than others. So make sure you're selective when you don't just go, "Ooh, it's a pretty shiny object," and go pick it up. Test it. And you should have at least once tested to know what your yes and no is. There's so many different ways to do pendulum work. Your particular yes and no will never change. So when you figure out how to do that, you'll know if it works for you or not. You can always set the graph up to do yes and no as well, and it'll swing that way versus your personal yes and no. Pendulums is a whole class, and I really need to tape it and do a free class on pendulums because they're so much fun. They're so informative, and you can use them daily in daily life. And once you're proficient at using them, you can use them intuitively as well without the pendulum. How cool is that? You can visualize the pendulum and it will still work because it works with your higher self. There's so many different materials for pendulums. I prefer metal pendulums like an Isis pendulum. You don't have to cleanse those pendulums, but if you have anything else, you have to. Crystal, you have to cleanse it. Wood, you have to cleanse it. My husband has a layered crystal, several different crystals. So make sure that you're picking the pendulum that works for you, that you cleanse it when you buy it, you find your yes and your no, and then ask questions. Do not come into questions with preconceived notions because then you're going to get preconceived answers. So there's a lot of different things you can do with the pendulum, and check out mymysticallife.com. I'm going to be taping a whole class on this, just the basics. But pendulum work is very proficient and very concise in its answers. You have to ask concise questions, and you get concise answers. We use it in healings as well. Don't discount that. You can locate pain areas on clients if you're doing healing services. I've used it on horses to pinpoint where a horse is. They're not going to tell you where they hurt. So it's great for use on animals. That's just a little bit about pendulums. There's so much that we could go over on that particular subject. Um, but check out the webpage because I really think in the very near future I'll be doing just a small free mini class on it so you get comfortable. Anyhow, talk at you next time. Have a great afternoon.